Hi everyone and welcome to EFOFEST 2020. In this project we're looking at upcycling jeans, and we're going to have a look at doing some stressing on the jeans, doing some stencil work, and also adding some embellishments to your jeans. So what you'll need in this project is a pair of jeans. They can be any colour, some sandpaper as well. I've got an 80 grit on the block here. 80 grit is quite coarse, so you can tell what 80 grit is if you turn the sandpaper over. There's normally a number written on the back of it, a cutting knife, and also a stencil. If you find a stencil, you can actually make your own stencils as well. I've made them before with some contact paper, which has been really quite easy as well. Some fabric paint. I've just got white here that'll go with the denim, and then just like an ice cream container or something that you can put the paint down onto. So I've actually found these pair of jeans at the op shop on the weekend, and it looks as though someone has taken the hem up, and when I tried them on, they actually fitted really well, and I didn't quite mind the length of it. But yeah, as you can tell, someone's taken it up and they've just used like a navy thread, which is all right in there, but you can really tell that someone's taken them up. So we're going to work on the bottom of it here, and then we're also going to have a look at the pocket, and I'm going to put one of the stencils on the back in there, and then just stress it a little bit more as well. We might take some of the bottom off of there, and then just put some stress marks in the jeans, and maybe do some working around the pockets and that as well. What we might start off doing is just do the bottom of it. So you do have to be careful that you're not going to sand the actual threads that are in there, but I'm pretty much just going to get my sandpaper, and maybe it's easier. I've just got this Tupperware container dish old one here. Just find something that you can put it on. That'll just make it a little bit easier to sand. And I'm just going backwards and forwards, just where you would normally find stress marks from your jeans running over time along the ground. And you can see that starting to work already, bringing out those lighter colours. So I'm not really looking for the too much of the ripped look. I'm just after to blend in the colours so that it doesn't look like it has been hemmed. So then I'm just going to have a little look up here as well, and I'm thinking I might put a little bit of distress happening up here. So I'm just going to poke that down in there. So now we're going to do the little stencil on the back. There's lots of different fabric paints that you can buy, but this one here I've got is actually screen printing ink, and its velocity is like it's quite thick, which is really good for doing stencils. If it's a lot thinner fabric paint, then you do need to be a little bit more careful with it bleeding through underneath of your stencil. But if you can find something that is a lot thicker, it'll work better for you. So I've just got that small piece down there, and you don't need very much at all for this. They're only tiny bits. But what I've got here is just a little sponge that's really easy to manage. The other thing you can do is if you've got a stiff brush, that will work as well. But what you want to do is get it to a consistency that there's no lumps, but the whole lot of it's covered nice and evenly in there. So when you're putting it down, it's kind of going to look like that. So load your brush up and just pop it to the side. And then you're going to grab your jeans and just make sure you've got none of that on your hand where it's going to transfer somewhere else. So I was looking at the stencil that I had, and I quite like this pattern here, and I'm going to just pop it into this part of the jeans in there. So I'll just have to be careful that I'm not going to go out to where the circles are, because I'm just wanting that bit. I've just found this box, but it just has to be as wide as what your pattern is there. So I've just tucked that into the pocket, and then just going to position that in where it will work. And then I'm just going to press down. And it depends on the look that you want. Like, I don't want mine fully covered. So you can see as it's going down how much paint it's laying on there. So I'm just loading that up again. So at this stage here, it's really important to try not to move your stencil. And I think I'm happy with that. So when you're lifting, also be careful not to move it. And there you go. So from here, if you let it dry, and then so read your instructions on your fabric paint as well, what to do afterwards. So this one requires me to iron it. And what I'll probably do is pop it on the ironing board, but I'll put some butcher's paper over the top and then iron it, and then it's good to pop in the wash. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other pocket, and then I have got on this stencil a smaller one of the same design as well. So I might actually have a look at doing those on the front pocket in there. I love visiting op shops. You find all sorts of bits and pieces. I have these old pair of jeans that are just a bit plain. So I found like a doily, and I really liked the pattern that was on the corner of them, and having that little triangle pattern, it fits in the pockets just nicely. So I'm not going to match these on either side. I'm just going to put them on one side and then maybe pop a little bit on the front pocket as well. So I've just cut off that corner and then worked out how wide it's going to be to fit into that pocket. So I have actually left a little bit to go down in there to sew through. So tuck that back in there again. You can get a fabric glue that glues it on, which should make it easy, but I think just by sewing it on with some white cotton will also make sure it's firm. So I'll end up just sewing, and make sure you use cotton that's close to the colour of your doily so that it doesn't show as much. So just put some white cotton through there and tied a knot in the end, and then I'm just going to start it on this side and then go around the edges so it is where I want to place it, and then I'll come back across here. So I'm just going to start from the back so the knot is hidden and go through. I'm just going to do a couple here and then start working my way around. So we've sewn all the way around and back to the end, and then I'm just going to do a couple more to secure it, and then just going to pop a knot in the back. And there we go, a little pocket on the back. I've got a couple of classes coming up, so if you're interested in doing those classes, check out the link below and it'll take you through to the website. Above is the email address to where to send your photos, and also the hashtags if you're posting on social media as well. If you're interested in more videos of repurposing and recycling textiles or clothes, please feel free to subscribe, and then once the new videos come up, they'll pop up in your YouTube channel and let you know. Thank you for watching.